this might be where this printer falls apart. We're trying to run multicolor with carbon fiber, and honestly, this should not work. When the Elegoo Centauri Carbon first came out, the name carbon wasn't just branding. It meant you could print tougher materials like carbon fiber, stuff most entry-level printers struggle with. It was clearly inspired by machines like the Bambu Lab X1 Carbon, but positioned as a more budget-friendly way to get into advanced materials. It had higher temps, a hardened steel nozzle, an enclosed chamber, so it checked all the boxes. But now we've got this, the Centauri Carbon 2. And the focus has shifted because now it's built around multicolor printing with Elegoo's new canvas system feeding up to 4 colors into a single nozzle. So the question is, does the carbon still matter? Or is this basically Elegoo's version of something like the Bambu P1S or P2S where multicolor is the main focus? Because here's the problem. Multicolor printing depends on clean filament swaps purging from one color to the next. Carbon fiber is the exact opposite of that. It's abrasive, prone to clogs, and doesn't always play nicely when precision is needed. So what happens if you try both at the same time? I wanted to test 3 things. First, some multicolor printing on this machine with PLA just to see how it performs. Then carbon fiber on its own. And finally, multicolor carbon fiber together in a single print. If this works, that's kind of insane. If it doesn't, this is probably where it breaks. Either way, we're about to find out if the Centauri Carbon 2 actually lives up to its name. Before we start pushing this thing to its limits, we need a baseline. So let's start simple and see how this canvas multicolor system actually works. Setup is pretty straightforward. Out of the box, there's a bit of assembly, but after that, the printer handles the rest of the self-testing. Filament loading is also simple. Each spool gets assigned to a number slot, and the canvas motor grabs filament without much difficulty or need to cut them at an angle. I also like that the rollers have a sort of tensioner on them, so you don't end up with loose spools when the filament is retracting. Now, the canvas system does include an RFID reader, but like most manufacturers, it's locked to their own filament. An interesting part is how it's implemented, because the reader is up here, not next to each individual roller. I wasn't able to test this directly without Elegoo filament, but based on how it's set up, it looks like you need to read the spool first, then go into the settings and manually assign it to a slot. It works, but it's a bit unintuitive. In practice, this means you're adding an extra step every time you load new filament. It's not a huge issue, but it does break the otherwise smooth setup experience. My guess is it's probably a cost savings decision using a single RFID reader instead of one per spool. But overall, the setup is quick and the system works as expected. So let's put it to the test with some multicolor PLA. Honestly, straight out of the box, I had no issues. Like most single nozzle multicolor systems, you do end up with a lot of filament waste, especially on prints with frequent color changes on the same layer. I don't normally like to print this way because of that waste, but for the purpose of this test, I did want to see how those color changes played out. There is a bit of color bleed here at the top when swapping between light and dark colors, so adjusting your flushing volume might be necessary to clean that up. But overall, these came out great. Now that we know multicolor system works, let's move on to carbon fiber. This is the part that gave the Elegoo Centauri Carbon its name, carbon fiber. So the next step is simple. Let's see how the Centauri Carbon 2 handles carbon fiber right out of the box. We're using R3D PETG carbon fiber that's been drying overnight. And yes, I'm going to be saying carbon fiber a lot in this video. I do apologize. Now, there is one important detail here. This printer ships with a hardened steel nozzle, but it's only a 0.4 millimeter. And yes, some manufacturers will recommend using a 0.6 nozzle or larger for materials with fiber reinforcement to reduce the risk of clogging. But for this test, we're leaving everything completely stock because realistically, this is how most people are going to be using this machine. So this will be sort of a baseline test to see how it handles carbon fiber. We're looking for things like consistent extrusion with clean surface finishes and no signs of clogging. Here's how it turned out. And yeah, this print came out with no issues at all. Mind you, it's a pretty straightforward design without any crazy travel or complex geometry to manage while printing. So our layers are looking nice and consistent, and the carbon fiber does a great job at reducing the look of layer lines with a nice matte finish. I really liked how the top surface layer came out too, which was nice and flat. Using just the generic PETG CF profile in my slicer, it turned out perfect. There are a few minor imperfections if you look closely. For larger prints like this piece, you might notice some VFAs or vertical line artifacts. This could mean that the belt tension on these printers need more adjustment, or this could be due to Elegoo's decision to go with pulley belts with a 2 millimeter pitch, which we know is an issue for some printers. But nothing that suggests that the printer is struggling. More importantly, we had no problem printing out PETG carbon fiber with the default 0.4 nozzle and didn't run into any hiccups while printing. From a functional standpoint, this is also holding up well. For a part like this, strength really matters and it feels solid. How much weight could this hold? Well, I tested 5 kilograms, 10 kilograms, and beyond that, I don't know if it'll hold much more. because just putting my own weight on this, it cracked. Now, this was just print with 3 walls in about 20% infill, so settings is definitely a factor here, but it's still great to see how this holds up for its intended use, which a backpack is perfectly fine. So overall, this is a great result because it shows the Centauri Carbon 2 can handle carbon fiber reliably, at least on its own. And that sets the stage for the real test. This is where things fall apart. So far, we've tested multicolor on its own and carbon fiber on its own. But what I really want to try is seeing if it can handle both at the same time. This last test, we're going to be trying out 4 filaments. I've got 3 carbon fiber PETG from R3D, black, blue, and green. And I'm also going to throw in a white PETG glass fill to get a contrasting color, but it's equally as demanding to print. And this is where things get more complicated because now the printer is not just switching between colors like PLA, it's switching between different types of materials, all with some type of abrasive reinforcement, giving us a higher chance of partial clogs over time. We could get incomplete purging, contamination between materials, weak layer adhesion, or worst case, a clog mid-print. I went with this cool 3D map of Manhattan I found on MakerWorld and scaled it up to 150%. It has small complex geometry, a good amount of material transitions, and lots of little retractions. If there's any weakness in this system, this should expose it. So let's set it up and see what happens. It's the next day, and it actually finished with no failures, which is a bit surprising. Let's get a closer look. This came out better than expected. R3D's carbon fiber, as well as the white PETG glass fill, looks great, and the printer had no problem swapping between colors. I was still worried that the 0.4 nozzle would be the problem here, but the printer kept up without any issue. Only the tiniest amount of stringing in this area here. Our filaments were dried prior to printing, but I may want to tune my temp and retraction settings to get a better result. Either way, I will gladly take a bit of stringing over a filament clog any day though. So yeah, we just ran multicolor with carbon fiber and glass fill, and it worked. Now, to be fair, most people are probably not going to be printing multicolor carbon fiber parts like this. That's really not the typical use case here. But that's kind of the point, because what this shows is that a budget multicolor printer can handle the worst case scenario like fiber reinforced with constant filament swaps transitioning between different materials, all in a single print. And it still made it through. So even if you're never going to run something like this in the real world, it's good to know that you can. So where does this leave us with the Centauri Carbon 2? It started as a machine focused on carbon fiber. Now it's clearly pushing into multicolor printing. But what's interesting is that it doesn't really give up either. It handled standard multicolor printing without issues. It handled carbon fiber on its own, completely stock. And even when combining both, it still made it through a worst case scenario. That's not something you'd normally expect, especially at this price point. At being almost half the price of a P2S, it's not perfect, and setups like this are definitely pushing the limits of what single nozzle systems are designed to do. But that's also what makes this interesting, because it shows just how far these budget multicolor machines have come. So who's this printer for? If you're looking to dive into multicolor printing and it's your first foray into this space, this is actually a really capable system for the price. Albeit mainly for PLA, PETG, maybe some ABS or ASA on the side. You're only limited to a max of 4 colors and don't have the option to combine auto material systems like you can with the Bambu Lab AMSs. You can get 8, 16, 24 colors. If you occasionally want to step into carbon fiber or more functional parts, it's nice to see the Centauri Carbon 2 can handle that as well, since the specs for higher temps is punching way above its competitors at this price. I believe it's about 350 Celsius max. But if you're constantly working with more demanding fiber reinforced filaments or looking to print with other engineering materials like polycarbonate or nylon, you may run into some limitations with this setup, especially with the Canvas multicolor system. Elegoo's product page for the Canvas lists more advanced materials, including fiber reinforced as compatible, but not ideal. That ideal category is reserved for PLA, PETG, ABS, and ASA only. And it's unclear what to make of that. But my impression is that you'll likely run into wear and tear issues if you're pushing engineering filament through this system a lot. All in all, you might never need to print something like multicolor fiber reinforced materials in real life, but it's good to know that you can. And I think Elegoo has done an amazing job with this printer, getting it to this price point without too many sacrifices to capabilities. One final tidbit, while we were writing for this video, Elegoo just announced that they're officially selling their Canvas system as a separate add-on to their original Centauri Carbon at an affordable $55 US. printers. I'm really happy to see brands embracing upgradability for their older machines, and I think something like this will bring a lot of new life to their already competitive cost-performance printers. That's all I have for you today. If you want to see more tests like this, make sure to subscribe. We're putting out new videos every week. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and let me know what we should test next in the comments. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you on the next one.